All right, so let's make a start on Unit 1, Part 1. So it says A01, we have to demonstrate technology terms, standards, and concepts. So let's jump straight in. Skip this part, skip this part. So we have digital devices. That's the name of this part. It has to have a microcontroller, a microprocessor, and it's essentially a tiny computer or a chip inside that does something. Okay, that's what a digital device is. A digital device is one which has a microcontroller, a microprocessor, or a tiny computer inside. Multifunctional devices. I mean, it's in the name, a device which can perform more than one action or function. So printing, scanning, copying, faxing, one device that does multiple things. We have mobile phones as well. I use mine for my emails, browsing the web, watching internet, camera, sat nav, all of that stuff. It's a multifunctional device. One thing I do want to note to you guys, IT people are very bad at naming things. So in most cases, whatever the name of the thing is, once you can describe that name of that thing, you'll more likely understand what that thing does. For example, here it says multifunctional. Multi meaning more than one, function meaning use or actions, right? So more than one action device. So any device that you can think of that does more than one thing, and it's a digital device, it's a multifunctional device. Examples here, we have mobile phones, laptops, consoles, and I've given a mobile phone example already. Laptops, I play games, I edit videos, I watch videos, I play music, I do word processing, web browsing, web development, video chat. Consoles, now they were originally made to play games, obviously, but now we can also watch videos, we can play music, we can browse the web, we can do video chat with some of them as well. So again, any device that does more than one thing. PC or personal computer, a system designed for individual use. That could be a mobile phone as well. That could be a desktop, a laptop. Normally, one person can use at any one time. A laptop, desktop, mobile phone, as I said before. Not all PCs are for a single user only. Some would argue consoles are now PCs. I've actually been able to plug a mouse and keyboard into my Xbox, use the Edge browser on there, and actually edit documents on OneDrive or Google Drive as well. So I would argue that consoles are now personal computers. Well, we have a mobile device. It's supposed to be portable, digital device. It's supposed to be lightweight. It's supposed to be multifunctional as well in most cases. So we have laptops, mobile phones, game consoles. So for example, the Switch and the PSP, those are mobile gaming devices. Some of these categories will overlap. As you can see, we have MFDs and multifunctional devices, which are also mobile devices. We have PCs, which are laptops, but they're also mobile devices. We have a server. So a server, a computer system which provides resources and services to other computer systems. Apple servers give updates to iOS of devices. The Xbox and PlayStation servers allow us to play online. The Google server allows for cloud computing and cloud storage. So if you use Google Drive, that's what this is. Let's quickly go back. So a server, it's still a PC, but it's the PC that gives other PCs resources. For example, whenever you go to update your iPhone or your Android phone, and you go to settings, check for update, what it does, your PC, your phone, your laptop is a client, and the client goes to the server and says, do you have an update for me? The server would reply and say either yes or no. If it's a no, it doesn't download anything. However, if it's a yes, it sends you a message saying download now, so on and so forth, okay? So here we go. So the client server. So as I said, your device is the client and the server is here. So the client makes a request, asks a question, checks if the thing is available. The server would then respond saying yes, no, it's coming out. The update is going to be released on this day. Yes, you can download this game or this app. That's what the server does. The server will then respond and give that resource to the client. Entertainment systems, this is probably the biggest industry right now. Computer systems used for the main or sole purpose of providing functionality of the below: audio, video, and gaming. Now again, entertainment systems will cross over into multifunctional devices. I would argue that my console is both an MFD and an entertainment system, and also a PC, because it does all of this. All right. So we have consoles, laptops, mobile phones. As I said, they will cross over. Digital cameras. So many digital cameras do video, which are actually moving pictures, right? Videos aren't a real thing, they're an illusion. And what a video comprises of are pictures, multiple pictures, and audio at the same time. For example, for those of us who play games here or go to YouTube and you change that setting that says 1080 60, what that means, when a video has 1080 60, 1080 30, 4K 30, and so on, that 30 or that 60 that's at the end, that normally tells you how many images per second are being shown to you, how many pictures per second that device is displaying. And obviously, audio is just normal audio. There's nothing special about that. But videos are actually moving pictures. So there's layer pictures on top of pictures to make it seem as if there's movement. And one important thing we have to note when it comes to videos and pictures, we have to know what pixels are. So these are the individual dots on screen that make up an image. So the individual dots, for example, my screen here is a 1920 by 1080 laptop. So that's a full HD resolution. So which means it has 1920 pixels going from left to right, and it has 1080 pixels going from top to bottom, all right? 4K is made up of 3480 pixels going from left to right, and 2160 pixels going from top to bottom. So these are arranged on a 2D grid. So X and Y axis, like we learned in GCSE math, goes across, it goes up and down. Next, we have digital camera again. The more pixels, the better the quality. The more pixels, the larger the file size. Cameras use lenses to get different kinds of images. Think of those physical Instagram filters that you guys have. So there's wide angle, there's fisheye, there's that one that gives you that blurry look, one that gives you that fade look. So camera lenses, they're physical things, and they do more or less exactly what your iPhone or Android phone would do on the Instagram filters or Snapchat filters, right? So cameras again, we've been over this, but let me quickly go over again. Each dot on your screen or picture is called a pixel. Digital cameras take both pictures and videos, and again, videos are an illusion. They're essentially multiple photos being showed in sequence really quickly. Sometimes 30 frames per second means 30 photos per second. If you have 60 frames per second, that's 60 photos per second, and some consoles now can do either 190 frames per second, that's 90 images per second, or 120 frames per second. Videos are a series of pictures, that I've said that. Each picture is referred to as a frame, and this is where FPS comes from, frames per second. So some cameras use SD cards and some use hard drives or SSDs. This is something we will get into later on. It's called storage devices. Navigation systems, they make use of what's known as GPS, which stands for Global Positioning Satellites or Systems. It uses coordinates to work out the location. So coordinates are X and Y based on the place you are on Earth. So X and Y axis come up all the time. So the X and Y axis. So for example, for Lewisham, London, this is the X and this is the Y. So if you actually copy this or type this into Google, minus 51.4612 and 0.0073, you will actually get the location of Lewisham. And this is what the satnav actually sees. It then just converts it to something that we understand, which in this case is Lewisham, London. Satnavs, Google Maps, Waze all use GPS. And again, GPS stands for Global Positioning System. These satellites are in outer space. So GLONASS, you don't have to memorize these things. I just put some of these questions in here so you can go ahead and do your own research and figure out what these things are. So that's one of the questions I put there. So why do people use satnavs? It gives possible routes. So there's an algorithm called Dijkstra's algorithm, not something you will be using in Unit 1 anyway, but it's good to know. And it finds all the possible routes and finds the shortest route for you as well. It gives you traffic updates. I use Waze and Google Maps because whenever I'm driving, even though I might know where I'm going, it's always good to have traffic updates so I can avoid traffic. Same thing for road work, same thing for accidents. Weather as well, because you might want to leave earlier if it might snow, as you might have to drive slower. So these are just some of the pieces of information that a sat-nav or a navigation system might give someone. So we have data capture and collection systems. So we have EDC, electronic data capture. So that's card readers, for example. Iris and fingerprint system, similar to one used in your phone. So your phone actually captures your data every single time you go to unlock it. And what it does, it compares when you're pressing your fingerprint now to something that you saved before when you were just setting the phone up, okay? So this was supposed to be automatic number plate recognition, so ANPR. Your parents might know what this is because when we drive around, there are cameras in and around London that actually pick up your license plate number. And for example, if you're driving in central London, you might be charged ULEZ or you might be charged the congestion charge. If you're going too fast, this is the system that would pick up your license plate and send you a ticket if you drive too fast. We also have barcode readers. They're very quick for data entry. We also have QR readers as well. They're working more or less the same way. The main difference is that barcode readers are the older system. QR is the newer system, tends to be faster and it can hold more information because a barcode is only one line of information, right? It only goes from left to right. And that's why we have those black and white lines. Whereas a QR code is a 2D box, let's say. It goes up and down and left to right. So it typically holds more information. Okay, so communication devices and methods. So I'm going to only look at the devices and methods here. We will go into this more when we get to the networking section, okay? So we have satellites. That's how we get our 4G, 5G. That's how we get GPS. We have Wi-Fi. This is what people tend to have at home. Wireless fidelity. Fiber to cabinet. Then normal copper wire. So this is one of the methods used by phone companies and internet companies to give us internet. So fiber to cabinet simply means that from outside your house to the cabinet on your main road, for example, you might have fiber. And then inside your house, you're going to have normal copper wire. It slows it down a bit, but not too much. So fiber to premises means that full fiber connection. So from Virgin's warehouse, for example, all the way to my house, I've got fiber. So I get my full 900 megabyte download speed from them, for example, okay? So we have 4G stroke LTE or 5G. That is a mobile connection method, means that you can move around with this. It's similar to Wi-Fi, it just has much better range. Wi-Fi normally can go up to, let's say, 30 meters, that's roughly 90-ish feet. Whereas 4G, as you know, it's miles and miles apart. So if you live in Lewisham, you can pick up a 4G signal from maybe Brockley or from Peckham, for example. We have Bluetooth. It's a PAN, a personal area network. It's mainly used for single peripherals. For the purpose of Unit 1, think of Bluetooth as a PAN, a personal or private area network, and it's used for one single item. For example, linking your earpods to your iPhone or linking your Bluetooth mouse to your laptop, right? And one of the questions that will come up later on is, what is broadband? It is, again, this is something I did put so you guys would research, but I'll give you this one. Broadband is simply high-speed internet. When we get to the networking section, this will be something that we cover as well, but just to give you a head start. So these last questions on some of the slides, try to do some research on these topics, well, on these questions, okay? Functions and uses of digital devices. Now, I haven't laid everything out. So we have education and training. What devices could we use in education and training, and how would they be used? That's what you need to think about. So I would say a PC, a personal computer, can be used. How? It can be used to, for example, present a PowerPoint to a class. Students can then use it to type answers into a Word document. Simple one there. We have personal. A mobile phone. Let's use mobile phone can be used to take photos or to update the social media posts. We have social as well, actually. Social, I'll go back to mobile phone or PC again, and we can use it. I use my WhatsApp literally every single day to communicate with people abroad and with people here in the UK because it allows me to send messages, voice notes, videos, pictures, whatever I want to send. Retail, they would use a till, right? A till, or it's called an EPOS, EPOS. I will go over that as well. That means electronic point of sale. And what that actually does, it allows us to scan barcodes very quickly. So rather than typing in an entire product number or searching the database every single time, I can simply scan that barcode and it adds it to my list. So think about when you guys go to a supermarket, right? I like to buy, I don't know, ketchup, right? So if I go to the supermarket and I have to buy ketchup, rice, chicken, burgers, the person at the till, normally if they did not have an EPOS or a till, they would have to type in everything individually, search for it, make sure it's the right one, and then add it. Whereas using a barcode or a QR code reader scans that item and it's by default the right item because every single item in the shop has a unique barcode, okay? Organizational use. Think of PC. It could be anything really. It could be a PC as well. Organizations use PCs all the time. Here, well, at work, not here. At work, we might use PCs for sending emails, editing documents, so on and so forth. Creative tasks. Again, PCs could come in handy. Phones could come in handy. I use my phone to take an image and I then transfer that image to my PC to edit it. I use my phone to record a video or voice and I then transfer it to my PC to edit it. I could create banners, logos, videos. So for this section, you're going to want to know what the devices are, first of all, for each of these areas. So think of a device that can be used in these areas. Now think of the function that these devices would provide to these areas. So I guess the easiest one to probably remember is retail. When we think of retail, we think of shops. When we think of shops, we should think of tills. When we think of tills, the right name for most tills nowadays is EPOS, electronic point of sale device. That's how we think of it. Okay, I believe this is the last slide. Yep. Well, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully that was useful. I tend to play, when I'm doing stuff like this, I tend to play videos at maybe 1.5 times the speed if I'm speaking too slowly. That could help you get through it a bit quicker. And just for reference, for the future videos, I most likely won't have a PowerPoint. I'll just have my list of talking points from the spec, and I'll just speak about those talking points, giving examples where possible. So if I have to Google, for example, fiber optic, I'll Google it and show you what fiber optic actually looks like. All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe, like, comment, share, and stay tuned for the rest of the videos. All right.